event here at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Shelter Rock. We look forward to this event every year because there is always such wonderful energy in the room. The energy that comes from people working together and learning together. And so we are very proud that we can welcome you here each year for this very special event. As a church in the liberal religious tradition, we strive to promote the inherent dignity and worth of each person and the goal of a world community where peace, liberty, and justice for all prevail. We feel that collaborating with Literacy Nassau and promoting the work of this very special organization, we are indeed fulfilling our mission as a religious community. So enjoy the evening and know that we are so happy to have you here with us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire, and special thanks to UUCSR for hosting our event 3 years in a row. For those of you who haven't met me yet, I've been with the agency for 14 months now. If you've been a tutor or a student for longer than 14 months, I'm sure you've noticed some changes. I'd like to begin this evening's celebration by telling you a little story. When I was here about 3 months after taking the TTW, I met my student, Pedro. The nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. Pedro and I talk about everything, but often he teaches me about his culture. Pedro comes from Peru. His favorite food is ceviche. If you've never had it, it's kind of like a seafood salad, made with white fish and usually served with potatoes. Now, when I first met Pedro, he was a little hard to understand because of the accent, but it took me no time to realize how extremely intelligent he was. The more we got to know each other, the more impressed I was by him. It got to the point where I realized he's definitely smarter than I am. But of course, he felt inferior because of the language barrier. He had all this intelligent stuff to say, and it all sort of got mangled between his head, his mouth, and my ears. So one day, I asked him to tell me about ceviche. He explains that it's mostly just white fish and lime, with some seasoning, salt, pepper, onion, chili, and cilantro. I asked him to explain to me what makes it so good, why is it his favorite? And he told me it's all in the seasoning. The delicate balance of the flavors really brings out the best in the fish-lime combination. I asked him if it would be the same without, let's say, the salt and pepper. Absolutely not, he told me. It's the little seasonings that make all the difference. So from that point on, I told him that the little tiny mistakes he makes with his pronunciation are just like the seasoning in ceviche. Think of it as the salt and pepper, I told him. Every time you switch a J sound with a Y sound, you change the meaning of the word you're trying to say. The substance is there. I know what you want to say. The rest is just salt and pepper. I'm sharing this with you tonight because it really speaks to the changes we've gone through as an organization this past year. The mission is the same. The student-tutor team is still the same. My students are the fish. My tutors are the lime. But before, we had too much salt, not enough pepper, and totally left out the onion, chili, and cilantro. Because our seasoning balance was off, the ceviche didn't taste right. When I got here, the office team was disconnected from the tutor-student pair. We didn't know what you were doing, you didn't know what we were doing, you didn't know who to call if you needed help, didn't know why we test our students, and we only asked for attendance 4 times a year. Our job in the office was to support your work, but we really weren't doing that beyond your initial training. So we added a few things. A pinch of Barbara Foti, who brought with her a background of teaching coupled with strategic data management. A dash of Ocaria Silva, whose patience and cultural sensitivity made her a perfect liaison for our English language learners. A teaspoonful of Emma Shin, whose expertise in learning challenged and developmentally disabled populations gave us insight into more than half of our basic learners that we previously didn't have. A little extra Brenda Aloe, because there wasn't quite enough in the original recipe, whose history and heart for this organization helped it get where it is today. And me, I'm the chef. The new recipe provides support, guidance, and accountability that the old recipe lacked. But the fish remained the same, and so did the lime. We just brought out the best in it by seasoning it right. And so because we found a way to bring out the best in all of you, you'll notice that tonight's program is going to run a little differently than what you're used to. First of all, there are more awards. So many of you have done such amazing work that we couldn't just give out a limited number of accolades. We're so proud and privileged to work with each and every one of you, we had no choice but to design some new awards. Unfortunately, the increase in awards leaves us with less time for the program than we had in the past. So, instead of having every student come up to receive their certificates, at the end when we recognize all of our students, we'll call your name and ask you to just stand at your seat and then we'll clap for everybody at the end. And, instead of having one MC, we're all going to take turns sharing our journeys with you this evening. So, to join me, I'd like to call up the absolute best staff team a girl could ask for. Barbara Fody, come on up. Bring me my flowers. Wait, no. This is a surprise. It's over here. Thanks. Come on up. Okay, Aria Silva. Emma Shin. And Brenda Alloway. My husband tells me these 2 roses are for me, which is very sweet. I'd just like to say that working with these people makes it a joy to get up every morning. I have the best job in the whole world. Thank you all for sharing my enthusiasm, passion, and dedication for this amazing work. Ladies and gentlemen, they really are the great and powerful Oz behind the curtain that makes this agency as amazing as it is. So with that, let's get this celebration started. I'd like to start by bringing up a wonderful girl who has been a student with us for many years. Mandy Shankman is one of our basic literacy students, and she is truly a great example of perseverance and commitment to learning. She's going to share a few words with us as this year's honored student speaker. Mandy?
Many people with developmental disabilities do not have real jobs. I'm able to read, I'm able to work. I have 2 office jobs in Nassau Farm and in Garden City. The past 15 years with Liberty Nassau has helped me maintain the real reading skills I need to go to work. My Liberty Nassau drill is a very important part of my life.